this class, let us understand how the participants saw the movement and the limits of civil disobedience movement. The rich peasant communities of the Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh were badly affected by the economic depression and the resultant fall in agricultural prices. They demanded the British government to waive off the revenue, but the government refused to do so. For them, the fight for Swaraj was the fight against the revenue. They were very enthusiastic about the civil disobedience movement. However, when the movement was abruptly called off by Mahatma Gandhi in 1931 without any revision of the revenue rates, they were very disappointed. As a result, they did not participate in the civil disobedience movement when it was relaunched in 1932. The perception of the poor peasantry about the Swaraj were also very different. These farmers were generally tenants who had taken land from the landlords on rent. They crippled with the problems of paying rent during the time of the depression and wanted the Congress to help them in remedying their unpaid rents. The Congress, on the other hand, was uncertain about supporting them in their no rent campaign as it could spoil their ties with the landlords and rich peasants who were funding the party expenses. Consequently, the poor peasant could not share a strong relationship with the Congress. The business class had a different take on the civil disobedience movement and Swaraj movement. They had reaped huge profit during the First World War and now wanted to expand their business, but these stingy colonial laws were obstructing their way in an effort to get the business class together. Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress was formed in 1920 and the Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries in 1927. These organizations were headed by the prominent business personalities of that time, such as Pushpamadar Thakurdar Das and G.D. Birla, who attracted the colonial economic policies during the first civil disobedience movement. They provided financial assistance to the Congress and refused to buy or sell foreign goods to the business class. Swaraj was an ideal situation favorable for the growth of their business. However, the failure of the second round table conference hugely disappointed the business class. They were also worried with the growth of the socialist and militant ideas in the young Congress members and feared that such a development were not conservative for their business. The young revolutionaries with the radical socialistic outlook believed that non-violence was not the way to achieve freedom. As a result, the Hindustan Socialist Republican Army or HSRA was formed in the 1928. Bhagat Singh, a Jatin Das and Ajoy Ghosh were some of its prominent leaders. The industrial working class had not responded to the civil disobedience in a big way either. They adopted a few Gandhian ideas as a part of their own movement against the low wages and poor working conditions. The Congress, however, did not want to include workers' demands in the movement as they thought it could affect the industrialists. Another main highlight of the civil disobedience movement was the mass participation of the women. They wholeheartedly supported the protest. They were involved in picketing and boycotts and also helped in manufacturing salt. These women came from both urban and rural areas. Women had begun serving the nation, but this had not brought a revolutionary change in their social position. On the face of it, Congress encouraged women participation, but even Mahatma Gandhi gave more importance to the traditional domestic role of the women. Due to this narrow mindset, women did not hold any position of authority within the Congress and only acted as a mere symbol. Although the civil disobedience movement witnessed a huge participation, it did not hold the people for too long because their problems were not addressed by the movement. Before independence, India had many provisions with the rise of nationalism. People started believing in the concept of United India or India as a nation state. People felt a collective belongings because they had participated together in the freedom struggle such as the revolt of 1857, civil disobedience movement and the non-cooperation movement. Moreover, they had fought against the common aggressor, the British. Besides this history and friction, the common folklore, song, popular pictures, and symbol also helped the Indians to unite themselves and raise the spirit of nationalism. About that, we are going to learn in the next class. Thank you, children. Have a nice day. Bye.